Okay.
Please state your name.
John Wray.
Which years did you attend Brown Summit Colored High School?
I finished in 60. So I've attended 12 years. And I graduated in 60. 1960. Is that sufficient?
Yes.
You
Okay.
had high school for 12 years?
Huh?
You had high school for 12 years?
No, I started from the first grade up to the 12th. I finished I graduated in 60.
Oh, graduated high school in
Yeah.
60.
Oh, okay.
What was the school day like? Like extracurriculars and things like that.
Say it again?
What was the school day like? So like extracurriculars or things like that, clubs or anything?
I don't understand what you're saying.
So like, did you have like classes? What were your classes?
Oh yeah,
like?
classes start from like we had the first grade, then I moved to the second grade, then moved to the third grade, on up to the 12th grade, and then you graduate.
Yeah.
What classes did you take though? You had math and
That I didn't understand what you said. Well, we had math. Then when we got to 12th grade, we had algebra, and we had English. Then we had history. And when we got into higher schools, when we got into higher grades, we'd go from one class to another. Like if you go to history class, and then we had science, then we had the English class. In other words, it's not like it is today. You go from one class to another. You know,
Did you have a particular way to dress?
not at that particular time.
Okay.
They didn't have a dress code.
What memory about the school stands out in your mind?
What's that now?
What memory from the school stands out to you?
Like we had back then, they had something like a May Day, and that day was something like everybody had a little something to do, like a play or something, and we danced around and all that, and that was out when we was in the lower grades. But when we got in high school, started from the 9th to the 12th, then we had the basketball team, and I enjoyed playing basketball, so I got on the basketball team.
It's fun.
At that time, we didn't have a baseball team, we had a basketball team.
did y'all play against other schools?
Other schools like Lofton High, or like, I know we played against Lofton High, and there was another school we played against, I can't remember what it was now. But Lofton High was called Summerfield.
Oh,
You know what Summerfield, right?
yeah.
Well, that was Lofton High then. In this area, it wasn't but two high schools. In other words, Proper Grove School, they didn't go no fun 8th grade. So they had to come, when they finished up there, they come here. And they had, I don't think Monticello had a high school. I don't know, I don't remember what they had a high school now, but that was all white school.
What differences do you recall about your school and all white schools, and did it affect your education?
At that time, we were the black school, and the Monticello was the white school. And a little history was that we did what we had to do and we could do, and and what I'm trying to tell you in so many ways, we didn't get the good books that the white schools got. That's why they wanted to segregate, put it together, because we got some of the bad stuff, like the books wasn't as good. We didn't get the stuff that we were supposed to got, and they would, back at that time, they would send it to the white school, but we did get some books and stuff, but it wasn't like the white school.
How do you feel about the school becoming a historical site?
Oh, I think it's a good thing. According to what I went through when we came through. It's a whole lot different now.
Yeah.
And y'all, the people that's going to this school and the other schools now have a better opportunity than we had. But we had to do what we had to do, and that was it. We couldn't do nothing about it.
What did you do after you graduated?
I got a job driving a truck, and then at that time, at that time back then, we had raced to the bike out here, and I worked there a while in the tobacco until I got a job, got old enough to get my chauffeur's license. Then I could drive a truck. You couldn't drive a truck. You had to be 21 to get your chauffeur's license. So I wanted to drive the truck, so I couldn't drive until I got old enough to get my license.
How would you characterize the race relations in Brown Summit and Greensboro at the time you attended this school? Now explain it again. The race what now? Relations between.
Oh, okay. In Brown Summit, the relationship's a lot different from the city because Dudley and all them. The matter of fact, at Dudley, I don't think they had too many white, but at the black schools, which was Brown Summit, we didn't have no white at all. But at the city schools had some, but not that many. But Brown Summit didn't have any at all. And the only relationship we had with them is when we on the farm or we met them and we worked for they daddies and stuff and like that. But for as communicating and going with them and going around them and visiting, we didn't do a lot of that. But it's different now.
What do you feel that us youth today should take from your experience as a teenager?
What's that now?
What do you feel that us youth of today should take from your experience as a teenager at Brown Summit?
From my experience, or what I take from it?
No, what we should take from your experience.
Experience.
I think that y'all should, well, like I can sit here and tell you how I came about, but now if it had to reverse that, I think y'all would do it, would have a better opportunity to do it a lot better than I did. Because sometimes, what I'm trying to tell you, it has a little bitterness in your heart about the way you was treated when you came along. But since you are not into that, you would probably understand it better and you wouldn't feel as bitter that I did or I do because you didn't have to go through with it. So I think y'all would have a better opportunity to deal with that than I do. Now see, some of this stuff, some of the things we went through, I still have some kind of feeling about that. But there's nothing you can do, but you got to move on because you can't change nothing. But now, if you had to go, since you hadn't been through it, you would deal with it a whole lot better. You would understand it a lot better. I think you would do a better job than I do because you don't have it in your heart like I do. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Like, what's some of the things you went through during that time?
Like, certain things we couldn't do. We couldn't go to, like, McDonald's. We had to go at the back or somebody had to go get it for you. It was sort of like a racial thing when the blacks came along. Same thing in school, and like we had good basketball players and all that, but we didn't get the opportunity that the white folks because we was at the black school. And if you wanted anything, you had to go to the white man or somebody to get it for you because they didn't give you the opportunities that you have now. So some of the things we went through was sort of like with the segregation stuff that people had went through back in the 60s and the 50s and the 58s and all that. You know, you couldn't do a whole lot of things. Black folks couldn't. So is that sufficient? Because I remember when, now understand now, I'm 76 years old, or 75. When McDonald's was on Summit Avenue, they were selling hamburgers 15 cents, but I couldn't buy them. I could get my boss man or the man I worked for, but they would serve you, but you had to go to the back. Same thing was, I know you've seen Green Supper Club up here, it was the same thing. And we had some people, I got some friends that mine was working there, but yet still we couldn't go there and buy nothing in the front, they would serve you at the back. It was a little rough back then, but I'm so glad it's not like that now. Is that okay?
That's
Yes.
perfect. What one thing, if you had to name one thing, do you think the public needs to know about Brown Summit Colored High School?
One thing, it was we got along, and another thing, you learned when you was in the school, even though that we went through a lot of other stuff, but the teachers that taught you, you learned, you got your lesson. In other words, there wasn't no playing around, and they, at that time, they could whoop you, but they don't do that now. So if you didn't want to get a whooping, you got your lesson. You see what I'm saying? But they would whip you at that time, and the parents went along with it. But now you can't do that. Then too, they had back then they had like this room here, they had 2 classes in the room. In other words, this is a middle school, and these what they call the smart kids or something. I think that's what they call it, one way or another. But they had a class over there, or a class here, and this was the slow class, and that was the fast class. Now, if you got good over here, you'd move to the fast class, but you was in one room. You know, like if you was in the 1st grade or the 2nd grade, they had a fast and a slow, and a fast and a slow. So that way the slow wouldn't hold the fast people back, you know. I don't know why y'all have that now or not, because if some kids don't learn and catch over things a lot than others, so you know you wouldn't hold them back.
Yeah. How can we continue to preserve the legacy of Brown Summit High School?
How can we, or how can y'all?
How can we?
How can we?
How can we? That's one that I don't know. All I know is keep on doing what you're doing. I think it's a beautiful thing when they did this school. This school sat here for a long time. And I think it's a great thing that they had this school here, which is Brown Summit, you know, to carry on the legacy as a middle school. I think that's the greatest thing. And other than that, it sat here for years. Nobody did nothing with it. I thought they was going to tear it down, you know, or make some kind of office or something, whatever, a bill, you know. But that's a great thing that they made the middle school. I don't know who come up with that idea, but that's a great thing. That's a good legacy to have, to go with. I think so. I don't know what everybody is, but I think that's a good thing. We still got Brown Summit High. But it's not, you know, but it's still here.
Thank you for your time here
Thank you.
today.
Now, y'all ain't gonna talk about me. Yeah, okay.